Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. Welcome back to the channel here on YouTube.com. It is Thursday, May 14th, 2020. Welcome back to another video and another Dark Side of the Ring review here on the channel. Pretty newsworthy week as far as pro wrestling goes before we get into the review. The Intercontinental title has been vacated. A tournament will start on Friday, or tomorrow actually. We have a new Raw Women's Champion. Becky Lynch is pregnant. Otis is Mr. Money in the Bank. So a lot to talk about this week. I will have everything set in the Lightning Flash update. I got some news on the Lightning Flash update as well this Saturday regarding a superstar getting a babyface push. I will have some news on Money in the Bank and where Otis may go. I've been hearing that Otis may be cashing in on the tag team championships. I don't agree with that whatsoever, and I do not like that idea whatsoever. I've explained why already, but it's certainly newsworthy. A lot to talk about. The SmackDown Live hacker at some point is going to have to make himself revealed as well. A lot of us knew the basic gist of the Road Warrior story, but now we actually dove deeper into it. I thought the documentary itself was very well. And I'm going to dissect everything and give you guys my thoughts on it, just like I've been doing every single Thursday for Dark Side of the Ring Season 2. Next week is the season finale. On the 19th, we got Owen Hart, and you know that one's definitely going to hit hard. Couple things first before we get into the festivities here. Follow me on Twitter at HistoryMakerDJS. Follow me on Instagram and Periscope at TheDJStorms. We got a couple new Thunderscopes up for you on Periscope. Add me on Facebook as well. All links are in the description. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Quarantine with Thunder, episode number 7, is currently up. Thunder wants to help me build some muscle, so if you want to find out what that means, you're gonna have to go and watch the video. You know, he's got this special little tactic that he uses, so go and watch the video if you want to see why Thunder wants to help me build some muscle. Also, the rewind for WWE Money in the Bank 2020, that went up 3 days ago on Monday. If you have not checked that out, please go check that out. The link is also in the description. Lightning Flash update, of course, is on Saturday. I will keep you guys updated on whether me and Thunder might do another Thunderscope. We're probably going to do it next Saturday, considering this week has been pretty busy for me and him. He's had to do a lot of work for his own job. Me, I've had to get a lot of finals done. Now I'm currently done. I am done. I am now set. And I'm going to focus solely on the brand for now. I've been feeling a little bit better. The process is slow. I recently just started some new meds, so hopefully I'll be back in shape, back in full swing by the end of the month, maybe by Father's Day. We'll see how everything works out. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on that. Please, if you guys haven't already done so, please like that video. Hit that thumbs up. Try and get this video to 20, 25 thumbs up. That's been the usual goal. I've been hitting that goal almost every single time that I've been posting a video ever since the pandemic has started. I'm not really too happy because YouTube actually purged a couple of my subscribers, so now I got to earn them back. I don't know what's going on with this app. This app sucks in general. This app sucks. The platform sucks. The platform is dying. It really is just becoming a restricted app for just children. It really is becoming an app with too many rules, too many regulations. I don't even know what YouTube's purpose is for purging subscribers. Oh, they're growing too fast, blah, 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 whatever it may be. The app sucks. Your app sucks, YouTube. So please get your shit together. But please like the video. 20, 25 thumbs up. Please comment down below what are your thoughts on the documentary that we saw on Tuesday. And of course, hit the subscribe button. I gotta work my way back up. I got purged to 5 subscribers. I gotta earn them back. And I gotta continue because I'm on the road for 2K. I am on the road to 2K. I want to become DJ 2K. So I gotta keep on working, I gotta keep on grinding. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I noticed that at least 45% of you, I got YouTube Studio, at least 45% of you are watching, are not subscribed. 45% of the people that are watching my video aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel. I mean, come on. you gotta subscribe. You gotta hit the notifications bell after you subscribe. You gotta hit it with a huge coup de grace, because that way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it's the best time to be on YouTube. I mean, whenever you see me in this glorious sideburn chin strap combo with this newly grown mustache, I see you ladies. I know for a fact that you just can't help but get drawn in. You just can't help but get drawn in. I just had to throw that in there. I had to throw it in there. Usually I'm out of character for these, but I had to throw that in there because I'm in a bit of a mood. I'm in a bit of a cocky mood today. And last but not least, Blue Riot Podcast. Shout out to the Blue Riot. Go follow him on Twitter at Blue Riot with 2 T's. Go follow the podcast on Twitter at Blue Riot Pod. Him and me, we've been having a blast doing the Blue Riot Storms review, reviewing AEW Dark, and reviewing AEW Dynamite. This past AEW Dark and past AEW Dynamite was stacked. That's currently up on all platforms where you find your podcast. So you look up Blue Riot Podcast, whether it be on Anchor, whether it be on Spotify, whether it be on Podbean, whether it be on iTunes. The iTunes link is in the description. You are going to find the latest edition of the Blue Riot Storms review and another episode of Darkamite, where we talk about all the matches that took place on Dark and all the matches that took place on Dynamite and where they are headed for Double or Nothing 2, as Double or Nothing 2 is looking extremely stacked. We got the participants for the Casino Battle Royal being announced day by day. I believe we might get Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida. We could get the Best Friends versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. They've been doing some great stuff over at All Elite Wrestling, and I actually can't wait for Double or Nothing. We may or may not do a review on Double or Nothing. I will keep you guys updated on that. We may or may not do a review on Double or Nothing for the podcast, and then obviously I'm going to do a separate review. I'm going to do a rewind for Double or Nothing, just like I did for Money in the Bank. But we got a lot of content coming in the next month. We obviously got Backlash on June 14th as well. But if you are interested, please go and check out Blue Riot Podcast, again, on all platforms where you find your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Anchor, you name it. iTunes link is in the description. We are undoubtedly the fastest rising podcast in the community in 2020, even during this pandemic. So if you want to check out the hottest new duo in the wrestling community, Riot and Storms, you know what to do. You guys know what to do. Nevertheless, enough of the advertisements. It's time to get into the topic of discussion here. Dark Side of the Ring, the last ride for the Road Warriors. Now, again, I stated a lot of us pretty much knew the gist and the basic elements of the Road Warrior story and how they pretty much revolutionized what it means to be a tag team. And it really is a lost element, in a sense, because you do see tag team wrestling that's really alive and well with All Elite Wrestling, sometimes in NXT as well, but there really hasn't been a tag team that is really just connected so well and has really set the foundation for what is to come in the future. I don't think there has ever been a tag team that has had a bigger impact on wrestling as a whole other than the Road Warriors. They were pretty much the originators of what it really meant to be a true tag team. They had similar looks. They had the similar haircuts where we had a double hawk and we had a mohawk, and they went in and it pretty much formed one. It's like they were one and the same. They had the spikes. They had the face paint. It was everything that you could have asked for in a true tag team. And the chemistry that they had in the ring together, the way that they just merged together so well, it was almost like the perfect match. And I do know the story of how they grew up in Minneapolis. Animal was a lot more down to earth. Animal was a lot more mature in a sense. Hawk was always a loose cannon. He always said he would always get into fights at school, and he would punch himself in the face, and his teeth would be chipped. They had Road Warrior Animal being interviewed. They had Barry Darsow. They had Nikita Koloff. They had Paul Ellering. They had Mike's brothers as well. And it was a very serious, a very intimate moment with all of the individuals that were talking about the Road Warriors, because they really understood and they really really felt the energy from not just what they experienced in the past, but what that past had going forward on them. They pretty much it's stuck in their minds, and it's stuck in their hearts for all this time, because it was just that impactful. And it's very rare in professional wrestling that you have something that's that impactful. And the Road Warriors were it. The Road Warriors had that impact on professional wrestling that not a lot of people have nowadays. It truly was a special time back then, when all of those individuals were coming up from the rankings. Demolition and Dusty Rhodes, Rick Rude, you name it. So they started off growing up together in Minneapolis, and then Eddie took him under their wing at his wrestling school. And from there on out, it was pretty much fait accompli from there. They worked as some bouncers in bars, and they eventually got the opportunity to go and become professional wrestlers. They started out as bikers, and then they became this this over the top charismatic, beastly tag team. And we would have these two big guys. Pretty much running the ring. They would own the ring every single time they would go out there. And Hawk, he would be the high flyer of the group. Animal would be the powerhouse of the group. So in a sense, it was the best of both worlds, because you had one guy that could fly, you had one guy that could work the ground power base, and both of them looked like they could legitimately break you in half. Now, they did a lot of great stuff. They went to Japan. They did a lot of great stuff over in Japan, but it was Hawk's lifestyle that, from the start, was almost the seeds being planted for disaster, because he would like to go out, and he would like to party. He would like to get drunk. And Animal, he would be the guy that would like to relax after a long day and then wake up for a good workout in the morning. And Animal, in a sense, he was disappointed in Hawk, and he was disappointed in his lifestyle, but ultimately, what are you going to do? He's an adult. He's going to do what he wants. Eventually, they got hired by the WWF. That was the only world that they had left to conquer, and they were pretty much destined to be the top tag team. They were pretty much destined to be the top tag team. I don't think that there would have been any other top tag team in the industry in the WWF other than the Road Warriors. The Road Warriors would have taken that place by storm. They were already in a stadium match. In their second match, they were pretty much catapulted to superstardom immediately because of their name value and the reputation that they built over the course of however many years before they eventually got to the WWF. And all the downward spiral started because Hawk was drunk in the ring. And Hawk wrestled drunk. Yeah, they won the match, but at the same point in time, that image is not going away. That image is going to stick out. That image is going to stick out forever. That image is going to remain in everyone's minds, whether it be in the competitors' minds, the opponents' minds, the minds of the fans, or the minds of management backstage. That is always going to stick. And it was Hawk's lifestyle that caused Strike One. Now with Strike One, they ended up leaving WWF. They went away on their own terms. Animal, he was doing his own thing in America. He was working by himself. And Hawk, he ended up continuing the gimmick with a new partner in Japan. And that was, in a sense, a slap in the face to Animal. We then had the WWF inviting them back, and so they decided to come back. But the catch pretty much was they used the lifestyle and the personal demons of Hawk as a storyline. Now, I don't necessarily mind when someone uses something personal that's going on in another person's life on television, but there's a certain limit that you don't really cross. And the fact that they had Hawk legitimately out there acting like he was intoxicated, acting like he was drunk or he was high, and it really was it really was a distasteful move. And then they introduced Darren Drozdoff, and Darren Drozdoff and Animal, they were having a feud with Hawk, where they had literally had him go up on top of the frickin' Titantron, and then they had him push him off the Titantron. That was pretty much the last straw right there. I mean, you take a look at what happened with Jeff Hardy and Sting at Victory Road. If something like that would have, and that was legitimate. Hardy was legitimately intoxicated at that time, and that was an image that's going to stick out in not just TNA history, but in wrestling history, period. And that's an image that's going to haunt Jeff Hardy forever. Can you imagine if something like that actually took place? If that took place back then, and Vince McMahon eventually went forth with Hawk acting like he was intoxicated, even though he wasn't really intoxicated, like something like that doesn't fly well. I don't mind a personal storyline being brought into wrestling because it adds a different vibe, it adds a cool dynamic, it adds a sense of realism, and it definitely adds to a storyline, it adds to a feud, it could add to a match, it could add to a character, and it could very well add to a show. But at the same point in time, there's always a limit that you don't really cross, and in my eyes, they really crossed the limit there, trying to have Hawk act like he's actually drunk in the ring, even though he wasn't, pretty much telling everyone what he really thought of him. So they left on their own terms. Hawk's lifestyle, him being addicted to the muscle relaxers, coke, and his heart was constantly going and going and going and going and going and going and going. Obviously, something's got to give. Something's got to give, and there was a point in time where Hawk was rushed to the hospital because, they told him that his heart was going to explode, and Animal was asked by Hawk to help him get out of Australia because he went to Australia, and he didn't want to die in the country, but Animal's like, no, you're on your own. I can't do this anymore. So they eventually went their separate ways, and unfortunately, the news broke in 2003 that Hawk had passed away, and he didn't OD. He didn't OD on the drugs. He just had a heart attack. His heart just stopped. Young age of 46 too. Young age 46, and in a sense, it was coming because of that type of lifestyle. You want to live that type of lifestyle, but your body says, I can't take it anymore. And it really does add to the common trend of this specific season of Dark Side of the Ring, because almost all of the episodes have specifically focused on the concept of substance abuse and what it can really do to you. And again, as I've stated numerous times before, it really just was a free-for-all. It was a free-for-all back then. It was a free-for-all with the 80s and the 90s being the era of coke and popping pills and getting drunk every night. And it wasn't until now, like, even now some people still do that, but now it's a lot more toned down a bit, I would say. A lot more toned down a bit because people know the dangers of that, especially in the wrestling community. Especially in the wrestling industry as well. It really does pain me to see a tag team like that had so much potential, and it was because of a man's lifestyle, a man's personal demons, a man's own undoing in Hawk that not only led to their ultimate demise as a tag team, but led to his ultimate demise on this earth. It's tough. It really is tough to think about because Joe Laurinaitis, Road Warrior Animal, I couldn't imagine how he was feeling in that moment. I can't imagine how he still feels today because he was one half of, undoubtedly, the tag team that revolutionized tag team wrestling, period. They started all of this. Without the Road Warriors, would there even be such a concept like tag team wrestling? Would there be such an aura that tag team wrestling really has? Would there be such a demand for tag team wrestling like what All Elite Wrestling is doing? You really think that All Elite Wrestling would be on this revolution for tag team wrestling if it wasn't for people like the Road Warriors? What about tag teams like the Best Friends, or tag teams like the Hardys, or tag teams like Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys, and the Brothers of Destruction? You know, just any type of tag teams, and all these types of tag teams that are building their legacy now. The tag teams of the past, and now the tag teams that are building their legacy now. Whether you be the Street Profits, or Private Party, or the Viking Raiders, or the Young Bucks, or the Usos, or the New Day, or Forgotten Sons, or Imperium. Where would all of these teams be without the Road Warriors? I couldn't imagine what they were going through at that time. I couldn't imagine how they felt at that time, and I really don't know what else to say. When it comes to these Dark Side of the Ring reviews, if there's one common trend other than these situations and these scenarios involving substance abuse in these stories, if there is one common trend with these Dark Side of the Ring reviews that I do, is that there always comes a point in time in the video where I'm always at a loss for words, and I just don't really know what to say, and I think I've reached that point. I really just don't know what to say as far as this goes. It's rough. It's rough to take in, and I can't imagine what next week's going to be. I really can't imagine how heavy Owen Hart's going to hit. It's crazy because I remember on my wrestling video games that I had always unlocked Road Warriors, and I would always play the Road Warriors versus Demolition because my dad would tell me about all these two tag teams. We had Demolition in the WWF and the Road Warriors in WCW at the time, or AWA or NWA, whatever it was back then. And I remember I always used to play the Road Warriors because when I was younger, I always loved the Doomsday Device, and that became the biggest tag team finisher for years. And it was so crazy to think about what these guys could have been, and how they pretty much came in with all the drive, all the motivation, all the hype surrounding them, and they really were living up to it. And they built a legacy, and they built a foundation that is never going to be touched. And it was because of one man's personal demons that never really reached its peak, or the peak that it could have reached. Regardless of that, my heart still is broken for Paul Ellering and Joe Laurinaitis and everyone, Mike's brothers especially, everyone affected by the death of Hawk. My heart definitely breaks for him. No one deserves to go through that. And all I can say is, all I can really say is, when it comes to the Road Warriors, there's never going to be a tag team like the Road Warriors. There's never going to be a tag team again like the Road Warriors. I don't think there's ever going to be a tag team, period, that's solely going to revolutionize an entire era like the Road Warriors did. There's been some tag teams that have been close. Some people can argue the Usos. Some people can argue the Young Bucks. Some people could argue people like that, or Edge, Christian, the Hardys, the Dudleys. Some people could argue people like that. I'm not going to bullshit you in that regard. You can argue teams like that, but I don't think there will ever be a team that will have started such a revolution like the Road Warriors did. They were the originators. Without the Road Warriors, in my eyes, tag team wrestling would not be as big as it is. And there would not be such a demand for tag team wrestling. And there would not be such a love for tag team wrestling by certain companies. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of Dark Side of the Ring review. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Check out all the links in the description. Be sure to like, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe. I have been having a blast doing these Dark Side of the Ring reviews. Lightning Flash updates up on Saturday afternoon. Quarantine with Thunder and Rewind for Money in the Bank 2020. Links are in the description. Please check them out. Please give them a like. Please give them a comment. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much for supporting the brand. I have been extremely grateful, and I've been extremely blessed to have people like you guys watching me. Everything that I've been through, everything that I'm going to be through, I cannot thank you guys enough for making this all worthwhile. We are going to get to 2K. We are going to get to 2K. Trust me. No matter how many subscribers YouTube wants to try and purge me of, I promise you, I'm going to make it to 2K. You guys already know the drill. I'm DJ Storms. This has been Dark Side of the Ring Review, the last ride for the Road Warriors. I will catch you on Saturday for the Lightning Flash update. Next Wednesday is Quarantine with Thunder Episode 8. And then, of course, next Thursday is the final Season 2 Dark Side of the Ring Review with Owen Hart being the topic of discussion for next week. It's going to be a good one. I can sense it. I cannot wait for it. I will catch you guys next week for Dark Side of the Ring Review, the final episode of Season 2. And, of course, you have a great day.